Hi, if I were sitting with this client, my first reaction would be to really feel that mix of relief and fear that she seems to be carrying. Opening up for the first time in therapy can feel incredibly vulnerable. I can connect with that because I know how overwhelming it can be when you finally slow down enough to notice feelings that you've been pushing aside. More than anything, I'd want to honor how much courage it took her to come back. From an ethics perspective, what stands out to me is how much of her concern comes back to trust and informed consent. When she wonders about my notes, who can see them, whether her information could be shared, it seems like a lot of her anxiety is really about not fully knowing what to expect from counseling yet. To me, the issue here is not so much a disorder but more uncertainty, the fear of being exposed, misunderstood, or not fully protected. Ethics reminds me that clients can't really settle into therapy until they feel safe and informed and respected. The main goals of therapy right now would be to build trust, ease some of her fear about the counseling process, and help her feel more in control. I'd want her to clearly understand that what informed consent means, what confidentiality looks like in a practice, and where the limits are. I'd also want her to feel comfortable asking questions anytime something feels unclear or uncertain. My role as the therapist would be to stay transparent, collaborative, and consistent. And her role would be to share at her own pace, speak up when something doesn't feel right, and stay engaged in the process as much as she can. She's already shown that ability by saying she'll let me know if something feels uncomfortable or unsafe. Some of the approaches I think I'd use from an ethics based perspective would be to check in regularly, invite questions, and explain things in clear, everyday language. I'd also want to normalize her reaction because a lot of first time clients, I think, would leave a session wondering if they shared too much or said more than they meant to. I'd remind her that she gets to set the pace and that she can always come back to something later, clarify it, or talk through it again. The therapeutic relationship feels especially important here. She mentioned being surprised about how open she was to me, and that suggests the relationship is already beginning to take shape. I'd want to build that by staying present, listening carefully, and showing her that I take her concerns seriously. When she said it mattered that I treat her information as sacred, that really stayed with me. That's such an important part of informed consent: respect, safety, and choice. From a multicultural perspective, I'd also want to stay aware that the trust in mental health systems can look really, really different across all the cultures. Some clients from some backgrounds where privacy is a major concern or where therapy is unfamiliar or even discouraged. Because of that, I'd want to stay sensitive and not assume that what feels normal for me or comfortable to me would feel that way for her. One real strength here is that she's already able to name what she needs in order to feel safe. To evaluate progress, I'd pay attention to whether she seemed more comfortable or asked more questions, and whether she felt less anxious about the counseling process over time. If she begins coming into sessions with more clarity and less fear about what happens with her information, I'd take that as a sign of informed consent work helping. As trust grows, I'd also expect her to take more of an active role in shaping her goals and the overall direction of her therapy. Thank you.